Thank you. Is there further debate? Gentleman from 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a really difficult situation for me. I have certain concerns about the bill, certainly the age, lack of training required for concealed, and I've been contacted by lots of people on each side of the issue, people who are concerned that this is an important step forward in protecting their Second Amendment rights, people who are concerned that this will make them feel less safe in their cities. And so I think that the reason we weren't very cooperative with the earlier motion to suspend on these is that I wanted a chance to go home and talk to people, get more input. And I think that pushing this forward is not necessarily in our best interest. However, it's here in front of us now. So I have to be honest that I think this is really a difficult situation, and wonder why we're spending as much time on this as we do when the issues that people repeatedly tell us that concern Idahoans are education, paying for college, economics, household economics and economic development, and health care. And so I'm sure the bill was brought with all the best intents in the world, but I just wonder what we're really doing here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further debate? Gentleman from 10.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate in favor of the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And one of the things about this bill is that this has been a bill that's been in motion for many years now, and I think this is a good resolved piece of legislation. The good gentleman from 6 brought up a few other issues that we take up in this body, such as health care and taxing, education, etc. Well, I would submit to this body that the Second Amendment protection of our gun rights is equally as important. And while we see this under federal assault day in and day out, I'm going to be one of the people that's going to be proud to stand for Second Amendment rights. This is a good negotiated bill that we've seen before us, and I'd hope that everybody would give this your green light. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further debate? Gentleman from 16.
Mr. Speaker, to debate against the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
And if I may, Mr. Speaker, I would like to refer to the Supreme Court decision of the District of Columbia versus Heller.
Without objection, the gentleman may refer to,
The Heller decision?
The Heller decision.
Thank you.
Gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to read to you from the Heller decision, which was part of the Supreme Court decision that expanded gun rights. And this was delivered by Justice Scalia, who was one of the most conservative justices on the Supreme Court, who recently passed away. Part of the decision reads as follows: like most rights, the Second Amendment right is not unlimited. It is not a right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever, in any manner whatsoever, and for whatever purpose. Those were the words of a very conservative Supreme Court justice. I don't feel like a vote against this is a vote against the Second Amendment. It's a vote that is in line with the Heller decision. There were a couple of chiefs of police locally as part of my district. The Boise Chief of Police, the Garden City Chief of Police, and the Meridian Chief of Police have come out against this bill, and I stand beside them in opposing this legislation.
Is there further debate? Gentleman from 34.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good gentlemen and ladies of the House. I rise in support of this bill. It is an affirmation of our Second Amendment rights. I do want to point out that the Heller decision was not an expansion of gun rights in any way. The Second Amendment doesn't grant us rights either. In fact, if you read the text of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Notice it doesn't declare the right. It mentions the right in passing, saying what the government cannot do to that right. The government doesn't grant these gun rights. The Second Amendment protects those rights for us from government infringement. And this bill brings Idaho more in line with the Second Amendment. It's our permitless carry bill. It's closer to a constitutional carry bill. It's almost there. And I support it wholeheartedly, and I ask for your green light.
Is there further debate? Gentleman from 17.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate against the bill?
You have the floor.
I'm in kind of a unique position in this body because last year, as an urban legislator, I voted for the bill that eliminated concealed carry permits in outside city limits. So I did that, and I got a little brushback. Why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that? And there was a reason, and that is because our rural areas are different than our urban areas. They're different than our cities. And there are different activities in the rural area than in the cities. This year, I'm going to vote against this bill because our cities don't want it, number one. And number two, our cities are different. We are congested. We are living very closely together. And so that the activities that we engage in and the rules that we have necessarily need to be a little different than they are in the rural areas. I'm voting for our cities because I have respect for the local control issue. Again, it's a way to resolve some of these conflicts that we do have. Gun rights is a big conflict. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. But there is a way. There are ways of rationalizing how we approach the issue, and this is one of them. And in fact, it's very similar to the way that, if I may, Mr. Speaker, have unanimous consent to mention House Bill 612 again.
Without objection.
It's
Gentleman
kind of
mentioned House Bill 612.
It's kind of similar to the approach that I ended up supporting in House Bill 612, and that is that some of our money here in Ada County is going to go out to other counties to help the other counties with their public defense system. And that's because I came to recognize that they don't have a property tax base out there to have the same standard of public defense that we have here in Ada County. And so, because I think that there is a difference between us, city and rural, I hope that you'll consider that we need to look for solutions that both sides can live with. And the solution for me today is that I have to vote against this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, good gentleman. Is there further debate? Here. Lady from 1.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate in favor of the bill.
Lady has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to say what a historic day in Idaho's history will go down today. I'm very proud and honored to be here today to be able to vote on this great piece of legislation, and I hope you all give the green light. Thank you.